So as Trump continues to pull initiatives that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, everybody knows it as that, former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg weighed in with a take that surprised some people. Watch.
What do we mean when we talk about diversity? Is it caring for people's different experiences and making sure no one's mistreated because of them, which I will always fight for? Or is it making people sit through a training that looks like something out of Portlandia, which I have also experienced, and it is how Trump Republicans are made, if that comes to your workplace with the best of intentions, but doesn't actually get at what actually matters here, what's actually at stake.
So do you agree with him that DEI initiatives drove voters to Trump? And what else can be done to make sure everyone is represented on an even playing field?
You know what I think, and
what do you think,
I like Pete, of course, but I think he got that so wrong, and I think it was so tone deaf, considering
Which
what's
part?
going on. All of it. I thought all of it was tone deaf, because what happens is when from 1776 to 1965. You have basically white men in charge of everything, right? Women, people of color, we're left out of just equality of opportunity,
yes,
that sort of thing. And I think when that equality starts popping up in terms of diversity program, equality now feels like oppression to those people who were at the top of the ladder, not necessarily because of their merit, but because of their identity, right? And so in my view, when you look at the stats, it is really clear from McKinsey, actually, a consulting firm that Pete used to work for, that firm found that companies with more diversity financially and socially outperform those that are less diverse. So the business case for diversity, equity, and inclusion, it makes sense.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about the cackling hens on The View, because there are bombshell reports that morale is low, that behind the scenes, the hens aren't really feeling too good about the fact that the bosses are demanding that they tone down their Trump derangement, okay? They need to tone it down. And who knows? This is probably a result of the fact that The View has had a few embarrassing moments over the past few months, as they always have to read legal notes to cover their asses for the fact that the cackling hens can't control themselves with their unhinged commentary that they spew daily on that show. That could lead to ABC facing some defamation lawsuits, just like other liberal media outlets.
So the volume is being turned up on sexual misconduct allegations against the current nominee to lead the U.S. Justice Department, Matt Gaetz.
How could you nominate someone with allegations of child trafficking trafficking across state lines and having sex with a 17-year-old?
Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
Sexual misconduct allegations seem not to matter anymore. It seems like unless you have a sexual misconduct allegation, you can't be in the cabinet.
I have a legal note. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations and has not been charged with any crime.
Allegedly, alleged sexual misconduct or harassment. Gaetz, RFK Jr., Pete Hegseth.
Another legal note, Pete Hegseth's lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit. He has denied any wrongdoing in the efforts to overturn the results. And so that is now the person that's going to be the chief law enforcement. Let me say this. I'm sorry, everyone. I have another legal note. God. Both Trump and Pam Bondi have denied allegations of a quid pro quo that his past donation played any role in her office's decision to not take legal action against Trump University when she was, of course, the Attorney General of Florida.
Just call the show Legal Note from now on.
And apparently this is causing problems. And who knows? I don't know. Maybe these tensions are boiling over on set, because we had an exchange here between Sarah Hayes and Sunny Holston and Alyssa Farah Griffin on DEI, okay, in which you have a conversation about DEI happening amongst the Democrats due to the fact that the DNC freak show election put on display for the world to see that the Democrat Party is still super woke, right? I mean, they're still an embarrassment to this country. So embarrassing that even Pete Buttigieg had to come out and say, hey, you know what? Maybe some of this DEI stuff that we're doing, maybe that's too far, right? It's kind of nonsensical, right? It's kind of comical as well, too. And that, again, prompted this discussion on The View. Take a look.
Winter meeting that happened over a few days, and I just want to show a quick clip of what went down.
You fight on, when your government is doing you wrong.
You may vote for 2 males, 2 females, 2 of any gender, okay? Nope, you can't do that because we've got to balance. You could vote for 1 of any gender, okay? Or no, non-binary gender, excuse me.
So I
What
think
about it?
what he's referring to is they're losing sight of the spirit of what DEI was by doing this in this fashion. And while people are reacting because of the times we live in, it's so politically charged, so many people are so frustrated that people are pushing back on DEI that they're not taking a minute to pause that maybe DEI itself needed improvements in its actual application. We're seeing a lot of things. One was New York Times staged fake interviews with diverse candidates. Wells Fargo, the New York Times reported it. Sorry, just to be clear. A woman or a person of color, after the position had been filled, to check off their boxes of minority inclusion. That's not helping anyone. So a lot of the problem is that,
That implies that
Lily
the woman
Zhang
wasn't qualified for the job.
there was no job. But Lily Zhang, who wrote for Harvard Business Review, reputable place, she's a critic. She says she's a DEI strategist and consultant. And one of the things she said is, DEI was never focused on the results. It was just the commitment to the results. So companies would hide under this idea of we're so progressive with not a lot of benefits or not always benefits to the people they claim to be helping. So some of the ways you change it, Sonny, you've been asking all day, like what are the things?
What's the solution?
So she has solutions. She's saying focus on measurable results like pay equity, physical and psychological safety, holding network events, blind hiring. There are a lot of things that you can
Blind hiring, that makes sense.
Right.
But
the
isn't
point
that
is
kind of merit-based? Isn't that the whole argument that DEI is against?
Well,
is
she
merit-based?
dug in because she studied, she's a consultant on DEI for
is
companies
not
for 10 plus years. And what she's saying is, regardless
Blind
of the
hiring is the opposite of DEI.
No, that's not true.
The results, just for
But you
anyone
cannot
listening still, the results of this are saying that there were people there that needed help with the diversity, the equity, the inclusion, bringing people on. The pay disparity still exists. They aren't getting the job. So not every critic of DEI, which I am one of them, says that it can't do better.
DEI programs make sure that the most qualified candidates traditionally excluded from opportunity are given the chance to compete. So this notion somehow that blind hiring could work, I think that's
wouldn't
something.
it take the
But it's not
race
about
or identity out of
but
it,
it's
and it would
not
be purely based on what you put forward?
But it's not about merit because the people that are in these DEI programs are already the best of the best.
But she's saying the companies end up doing tokenism rather than helping by the way they approach
the number of
DEI.
times I've had people in
tokenism.
corporate America be like, lean into the fact that you're an Arab American. I don't ever want somebody to be able to look at me and say, you were a DEI hire.
Because Donald Trump is now the president and has gotten rid of DEI in government and is coming down on corporations to do the same, are getting rid of DEI. So we're going to see within the next 6 months, within the next year, if there are less people of color or more or the same in the C-suites and the corporate offices.
There will be less.
But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of diverse people like you and me who have power with our pockets.
That's true.
And so if Target gets rid of DEI, they're getting rid of me.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think they're going to gain a whole lot more customers than they lose, right, to be honest with you. Again, I'm just saying, I think Target is going to be fine when it comes to the DEI boycott that the woke revolutionaries are trying to stage against them, okay? But the reality is this, okay? Sarah Haynes there kind of went off script, right? And she actually tried to bring some nuance to the conversation on The View, something that is sorely lacking, something that they really hate. And she basically said the quiet part out loud, which is that, hey, corporate America, they weren't doing DEI because they were committed to actually getting results, right? Or the results they claimed that they wanted to see. No, they were committed to looking like they were committed to getting results, even though they weren't getting the results. And the results they weren't getting was improved profitability, because that's what it was about. And that's just the reality of the situation, okay? They weren't doing DEI because they love black people, right? They're not doing DEI because they love gay people and transgender people, whatever. That's not why they're doing it. They were doing it to make money. When they found out they couldn't make money, they decided to move on past it. This is why I don't believe these fake studies that people like Sunny Holston often cite in support of DEI. I mean, these studies done by consulting firms that benefit from DEI, right? They literally make money from consulting with companies off of DEI. So of course they're going to come up with a study that says that, hey, our consulting services are useful, right? You're going to have improved profitability. Okay. Yeah, I don't believe those studies. If those studies were true, then these companies would not be getting rid of DEI, right? If DEI was something that resulted in the most qualified candidates getting the jobs, which is what Sunny Holston claims, then why would the corporations be getting rid of it? Because in order to compete, okay, especially in corporate America, you have to have the best people. You have to hire the best people. If you hire the best people, you're going to be able to compete. You're going to make more money. You're going to have improved profitability, which is the point of these companies, right? That is the point. So the people that are losing their jobs as a result of DEI going away, it tells you everything you need to know about whether or not they were the most qualified. They weren't, right? They were either not the most qualified, okay, for the position, okay, AKA they got the job because of their skin color, race, who they like to sleep with, whether or not they like their genitalia, or there was a position that was created out of trying to appear that the company supports DEI, right? It's a DEI specific position, which does not improve the profitability of the company, right? It's just the cost. That's all it is. It's a subsidy to people who aren't very talented, right? I'm just saying. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. So with that being said, again, tensions mounting at The View as host asked to dial back Trump criticisms, layoffs, morale is low. The talk show hosts on The View are being pressured to tone down their criticism of President Trump after ABC's latest round of layoffs, the Post reported Friday. An insider close to Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sunny Holston, Sarah Haynes, Alyssa Fair Griffin, and Anna Navarro exclusively told the Post that morale is low as cost-cutting continues. Sources also disclosed that the mood on set is growing tense after the show's executive producer, Brian Teta, asked staffers to go easy on Trump-related conversations ahead of 47th president's inauguration last month. Yeah, so there's been rumors floating around about how the producers, some of the bosses at ABC, they want The View to tone down their Trump rhetoric, right? And in fact, after the election, there was a story floating around about how some of the bosses at ABC were looking for a more conservative voice, a more Trump-friendly voice, because essentially none of the hosts support Trump, right? And after the election, they realized that, wait, we're out of touch. We don't actually represent America, right? Our panel does not represent America, considering how many people voted for Trump.
So, is this the immigration system fix that people had in mind when they voted? Do you think?
Well, it's hard to tell at this table because no one voted for it. But I think if you were, I don't know yet. It's kind of, it's disturbing what we're seeing.
Despite the show's nearly 2.6 million total viewers in the last 4 weeks, staffers are terrified for their jobs after Teta laid off at least 9 workers, including 2 female senior producers, Jamie Hammer and Audrey Jones. One insider shared, quote, "People were shocked that he'd fire such experienced, well-respected producers," the source said, adding morale is low. The insider claimed that, quote, "Everybody is waiting for the other shoe to drop," despite the firings being part of parent company Disney's wider cost-cutting initiative in October. Quote, "There's a lot of anxiety even though they just went through layoffs," the source said. Meanwhile, the Post has learned that the show's co-hosts are disgruntled over the fact that they are sharing a studio and dressing room with Tamron Hall's show in ABC's new headquarters. An insider close to the situation said the ladies of The View are unhappy that their guests have to share a dressing room with the other show's guests and that the set must be treated as a shared space. Wow, sounds kind of selfish to me, right? Sounds like they're not looking out for their fellow women that are in the industry. But hey, this is what happens when you have a bunch of narcissists and egotistical people like the cackling hands on The View, especially women, right? Women with big egos, yeah. This is the type of drama that you get as a result. Staffers, therefore, cannot leave their belongings in the studio overnight as they could at their previous workspace. Furthering anxieties, the shows have allegedly been quarreling over taping schedules, which are sometimes known to overlap. Tamron Hall thinks she's Oprah. She is very demanding. The source said, quote, she doesn't realize she's playing second fiddle to The View. Another source familiar with both shows' production teams told the Post, quote, kudos to both productions for seamlessly working together to bring our viewers several hours of television each week. Yeah, so what you have here is that there are layoffs at The View, right, that are happening behind the scenes, and that at this point they are frustrated because the bosses are telling them, hey, you need to tone down the Trump derangement, right? You guys need to chill out a little bit. Okay, you're out of touch, right, with the American people. But here's the thing, though. I don't know why they just don't go ahead and just hire a pro-Trump host, like at this point, right? Get rid of Alyssa Ferry Griffin, okay? She doesn't serve any purpose at this point, okay? I mean, here's the thing. They should get rid of Sunny Holston, too. But Sunny Holston serves the role as, like, the super extreme, far-left, crazy, like, lady, right? Like, she has, like, her role, right, as a radical leftist, okay, a lunatic. But Alyssa Ferry Griffin, I don't know what purpose she serves at this point. Or Anna Navarro, really. Okay, both of them are basically redundant. Get rid of at least one of the hosts. Okay, doesn't matter who it is at this point. All of them are basically leftists. But get rid of one of them. Bring on a couple of, pro-Trump hosts. And I guarantee you that the show would be a lot better, right? I guarantee you. Like, for example, could you guys imagine if Candace was on The View? Right? Just imagine Sunny Holston and Candace Owens at the same table, bruh. That would be amazing television. Amazing television. But it would never happen. It would never happen for multiple reasons. Because I don't think that Sunny would ever want to sit at the table with somebody like Candace every single day to talk about the issues. That would be a nightmare for her. I'm pretty sure that she would quit before doing that. But oh my goodness, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. Okay, I'm just saying that's what they should do, right? That is what they should do. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.